What did I title this video? Leagues of Votann? Why am I doing this? Alright, whatever. Alright, I guess I can do the stunties of the 40k universe, but first I need this. Are you meowing at me? Meow! Hi, kitty! Also, I'm gonna need some equivalent exchange going on in this house, because I can't be doing this for free, so I'm gonna need you to like and subscribe while you're here. There is so much background context we have to explain before jumping straight into whatever the Leagues of Votann are, and why are they doing the things they are doing. First off, all I have to say is someone at GW, or multiple someones, has a power boner for Deep Rock Galactic.
Man, I'm gonna break my monitor, I swear!
To answer right off the bat, the Leagues of Votann are not actually the squats. While very similar, that's mostly just the Imperium once again being professionally racist. At least they stick to their guns, you can't really fault them for that. Now bear with me as I try to deliver all this information, so if you are as confused as I am by the end of it, then great. That means we are on the same page. Going back a few millennia, humanity was in its golden age, being the predominant species in the universe and not dealing with the tomfoolery that is the warp. Being so technologically advanced, humanity created subsections of themselves controlled by sentient AI. There were different classifications of AI, mostly the men of gold, the men of iron, and finally the men of stone. Not much is known of the Golden Boys. We really know the Men of Iron for absolutely butt-fucking humanity when they rose in rebellion. And finally, the Men of Stone is the topic of this video. You see, the Men of Stone were the main colonizing force of humanity. Physically more robust and shorter, these Men of Stone would scour planets for resources, create biomes, and eventually help humanity secure planets. Now I can't really figure out if the Men of Stone betrayed humanity like the Men of Iron, but they did eventually end up in the galactic core. These worlds in the galactic core were fucking AAA rated when it came to being bountiful in resources. The biggest problem is the galactic core is a rough place to live in. Thankfully, due to the genetic manipulations, the Men of Stone were well suited to survive in the galactic core. Now, during the Age of Strife, I fucking have no idea. I just said that, but I have no idea what happened to them. Maybe they ran away from humanity to a place they had no chance of surviving.
9, 1.
Do it. Do it. Do it. You are facing
Get out right fucking now!
You are.
Or maybe they ran away from the Men of Iron. There's really no telling. I couldn't figure it out. However, during the thousands of years spent in the galactic core, the Men of Stone became something greater. Fucking space dwarves. Taking on the appearance of another section of humanity called the Squats, the Leagues of Votann civilization would blossom into their own faction, and after 20 years of IRL silence, they would be official licensed minis in Warhammer 40k tabletop. They developed their own histories, wars, and families, but what are the kin? Well, they definitely aren't the Squats, because all those bad boys got nom-nommed on by the Tyranids. The kin, or space dwarves as I call them, are all genetic clones prescribed with their own personalities in gestation pods known as crucibles. It's here that these clones get uploaded with their own meat pilot, and from there they go and do whatever space dwarves do. There's also the Iron Kin, which are exactly the same thing as the kin, except they are just robots. And kin, I don't know if I explained it or not, but that's like just what a normal squat stunty space dwarf is called. They're called kin. Both versions of the kin are extremely heretical in Imperium standards since they are both sentient AI, but as far as I can tell, the Imperium just see them as either transhuman or a Xenos faction. All kin also have callings which they dedicate their entire being to, whether it's just being a good miner or knitting the best damn striped sweater you've ever seen. It doesn't matter, they put their whole badussy into it. And honestly, the best way to describe the whole civilization is like a mix between space wolves and salamanders. Both of these legions get intermingled within the Leagues of Votann. Family, duty, honor, and fucking protecting your home are literally genetically hardwired into their brains. Also, they're really nowhere near as bad as other 40k factions, but they do have their moment. While technically being around this entire time, fighting all of the other factions, including the Tyranids and Orcs, the kin have good relations with many human worlds and even some craft world Eldar, despite how fucking pompous they can be. They absolutely hate the Dark Elder, Chaos, and Tyranids for obvious reasons. I couldn't really find much information when it came to the Necrons and the Tau, but it appears to me that if their human allies have ever called for aid, the Leagues of Votann would answer with surprising quick force to acknowledge the bonds of an oath. As they are genetically modified, they are usually more hardy to many of the problems that plague humanity. Living longer, taking more damage, and being able to outdrink pretty much everything but a space wolf, they are quick to tell someone to fuck around and find out. Both kin and iron kin are treated in the same way, as the flesh and blood kin treat their robotic counterpart exactly the same as they were if they were in, a regular meat suit. Also, despite being AI, the kin have souls, but they are very similar to the Tau in that regards, that their souls are exceptionally dim compared to the buffet that is humans. However, this doesn't mean that they don't have psychers and whatnot, but that they are more able to avoid being corrupted or possessed by any demons of the warp. More like going unnoticed and just seen as a fly on the wall compared to literally the fucking dumpster fire that is humanity's soul. Also, somehow living in the galactic core made their souls harden because of how tough it is to live there. I don't know why, that's what Wikipedia says, but by that logic you'd think anyone living on a death world would be nigh incorruptible. Okay, so we understand the basics of the kin, but what are the Leagues of Votann? The Leagues of Votann are like the ruling houses of the kin. See, Votann is an ancient myth also commonly referred to as a kin as the primal ancestor. Each of the kin's houses are dominated by super AIs called the Ancestors. The Ancestors also refer to themselves as the Votann, so that's where we get the name of the Leagues of Votann. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk, I'm a super genius. Also, the Leagues of Votann have ancestors, and the ancestors might be called primal ancestors, but then the primal ancestors might be called Votann, so it's just a big clusterfuck and it's hard to understand. So I did mention earlier that the kin holds to virtues such as family. This is almost downright the most important thing in all of the kin's life, including the Iron Kin. Each of these families create kindreds, which create holds, which eventually creates the leagues being the largest. The holds aren't some just silly fortress, but might actually be the size of an entire world, also called a hold world, go figure. Kindreds might be small or large, but eventually when they get large enough they evolve to the next tier of being a hold. Pretty easy to understand so far. All kin value their own kindreds and so forth, and while infighting might be common, it is nowhere near as serious as, let's say, Primarch brothers starting a whole heresy just because daddy didn't tell them when he was coming back with the milk. They are almost a fully unified race, able to put aside differences in order to fulfill oaths or protect other kin. While the leagues are each different and specialize in other tasks, they are all universally strive to improving the Votann in their own way. They also all follow their truth, which is like pre-programmed code in their brains. They don't waste a damn thing, go out of the way to do it right the first time. As apparently living in the galactic core is so hard that leaving the kitchen sink on is damn near a death sentence. They are also considered to be more conservative when it comes to dealing with other races. However, being dwarves, they tend to be greedy as fuck when it comes to resources. They also probably have waste not, want not tattooed somewhere on their body. Fucking shit. Oh, God, there's so much information. But this is a TLDR. Or the too long didn't read if you didn't know what that meant. They are space capitalists. They are AI pretending to be space dwarves. Think of them as like space homesteaders, and they are fucking cool as shit. I don't know too much about the leagues, but the brief summary that I got introduced to seemed like they're really interesting. For one, they probably all play Minecraft, and they all bleed out. Rock! Stop! That joke is old, we aren't doing it anymore. Their guilds appeal to me the most, with their rangers or Hernkin being the ones I'd probably get some models of. Oh, and the Hernkin are like space dwarf rangers. I'm at a mental block of trying to explain anything else, so that's really all you're getting out of me. I'm excited to dive into something else despite just their codex and Wikipedia, but for now, my mouth is dry and my brain is numb. My working theory is that the primal ancestor is just the emperor before he took the mantle of being the emperor. Pre-imp as he is commonly known. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm going to be going to an anime convention soon, so I might just do a video of my time there. I know, I'm just a disgusting person who likes anime titties, go figure. If only there were, say, femboy space marines to fully invest my entire being into, I'd gladly sell my soul to Slanesh for some of that shit.